like, share, and subscribe for more great Angry Guy content. And turn on notifications to never miss another Angry Guy video ever again. Now let's begin.
恋爱的时候也谈过爱打游戏的男生啊。
I used to date a guy who was really into video games. To be honest, when you're just dating, it's not really a big problem. You might think he's a bit of a homebody, maybe a little obsessed, but as long as the two of you are in love, you can play together, make some compromises, and it'll pass. But once you start thinking about marriage, things change completely. If a man is still obsessed with gaming at the stage where you're considering marriage, doesn't communicate much, and seems indifferent about everything, then you really need to be careful. This kind of addiction to a specific type of entertainment, whether it's gaming, drinking, gambling, or even going clubbing all the time, actually points to the same issue, a lack of responsibility in real life. A man like this is basically incapable of earning money for the family, and he's also not capable of living a proper life with you.
So, guys, here you have it. Most men have given up on women and are playing video games, and women are not happy about this. They are taking to the internet and they are furious because men are disengaging from relationships. Men are disengaging from physical intimacy. Men are tired of being treated poorly. They're tired of being used as simps, and they're walking away. And now women want to punish men for this. It's absolutely insane. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men giving up on women, dating in relationships, and walk away from society, and how that's going to affect women going forward. Today's video comes from the China Unvarnished channel. Their channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check them out and support them. And we'll go ahead and jump right into the video momentarily after a message from Angry's Crypto Academy. So, guys, you know what the system is right now. You know what's going on. Everything is in the drain. You can see that women are crying on social media. You can see that women are panicking, and they're panicking because of the economy. They're panicking because of the tariffs. They're panicking because the rent is due and they cannot pay it. And one of the best ways to protect yourself, safeguard your wealth, is with crypto. And that's what we do over at Angry's Crypto Academy. We save lives and help you to protect your future. So, as the economy is teetering on the edge of financial collapse and the ATMs are going to freeze up, the banks are going to chain up the doors. Discover how to safeguard your assets with crypto. At Angry's Crypto Academy, you'll learn how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in the most secure coins. Plus, you'll discover the dark horse crypto that virtually no one is talking about, which will mint you millionaires in the upcoming bull run. Click the link in the video description below to find out what this crypto is and join the academy today. And let's just go ahead and jump right back into the video.
For example, you ask him to take care of something important, something that needs to be done, and he always says, "Wait a minute, let me finish this game first." But in reality, this game is never over. He'll probably forget what you asked right after he says that. Then when you see he still hasn't done it, you can't help but take care of it yourself. In the end, it's always you who ends up doing it. Over time, you'll realize that you're not just his girlfriend, you're his nanny and his backup worker. A man like this might be fun to hang out with, but he's not someone you can build a life with. Because he hasn't truly grown up, and he's unlikely to achieve anything big or earn much money, either.
Can you accept your partner being addicted to video games? Today I was chatting with a friend, and she mentioned that her husband actually doesn't have many other hobbies. After getting off work, he basically dives straight into video games. She said she didn't think it was a big problem at first, since everyone needs some way to relax and entertain themselves. But the problem is, this state has already started to affect their normal communication. When she talks to her husband, he completely ignores her, his eyes and mind are only on the game. Every day he says, "I'll play less," but nothing ever changes. What's even more outrageous is that my friend is pregnant, and her husband is still like this. She's at home with a big belly, and sometimes she just wants to talk to discuss something, but her husband completely tunes her out. It's like his ears are sealed, and all he sees is the video game, with no awareness of real life at all. She has tried many times to talk with him, to get him to realize his responsibilities now, but it's almost completely useless. In my opinion, if things have gotten to this level, then it's really time to seriously consider the future. You either face the reality and leave this person, or you accept the fact that a man addicted to video games basically won't change. Especially during her pregnancy, not only does he show zero care, but when he gets home, he doesn't even wash a bowl. He ignores everything. The first thing he does is play video games. Tell me, can you really expect a man like this to take on the role of a husband and father? A man like this probably won't amount to much in his life. Can a life like this really continue?
你们讨厌老公打游戏吗？我真的是极其讨厌我老公打游戏。
Do you hate it when your husband plays video games? I'm honestly getting more and more fed up.
Yeah, because he's not paying attention to you. So even married men are done with this, guys. Married men have basically clocked out of the relationship. They've come to the conclusion that they're trapped. So you know what? I'm not even going to pay attention to you. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to play my video games and just completely tap out. You know, getting access to physical intimacy every so often, you know, in the year. I don't want it anymore. If I want physical intimacy, I will go out of the relationship and get it from someone else. I will have someone on the side. Or if I can't do that, I will, and a lot of guys won't even bother cheating. They'll just basically use their hand, all right, and basically and spend time with their favorite waifu. It's a lot better, it's a lot happier, and it takes a lot less energy. Why interact with someone who doesn't even like you? These men realize these women don't even like them. They treat them poorly. They expect the world from them while they give pretty much nothing in return of value. So these men are just actively waking up and saying, if I'm trapped in this relationship, I'm not going to contribute anything to it more than the absolute basic. I'll work just enough to keep a roof over my head, to keep food in my belly. And, you know, if you're living with me because I can't get rid of you, you'll be here as well. Or, you know what, if you have a job, I'll just let you worry about that stuff. I won't work. I will only work as much as I have to take care of myself. And I really don't care about you either. And then when it comes to the child, the man is also saying, well, you know what, here's the thing. The child may be biologically mine, but the child belongs to the state, and you are the agent of the state who is now the administrator of that child. I have no actual rights to that child in this marriage or outside of this marriage. So I've just given up. And women think that by nagging these men, by tormenting these men, they're going to get these men to act right. They don't understand. Men have given up. Men have given up on relationships. They've given up on dating. They've given up on marriage. They've given up on marriages that they're already in. Guys, keep in mind, over 30 million men have already dropped out of the workforce in the United States. And some of those men, while the vast majority of those men are single men, some of those men are also married men. So when you have millions of married men who are dropping out of the workforce, what does that tell you? Well, their wives won't give them a divorce, right? And because why won't their wives give them a divorce? Why would a wife refuse to give a husband a divorce? It's very simple. Because if he drops out, men are smart. Women think that we're dumb. These men are smart. Because his mindset is this: if I drop out of the workforce, right? If I lose my job, you know, I drop out of the workforce, I lose my job, or I quit, I stop working, and I stay, and it's hard to get a job right now. I just need to make sure I have enough money to provide for myself and survive. And what these men are doing is they're buying crypto, and they're locking their crypto away. And then sometimes the crypto gets found during the divorce proceedings, and a woman finds out that this guy has like $100,000 in crypto. And that's what these men are doing. They're funneling their money into crypto. They're doing things like day trading so they have additional cash coming in if they need it. And they basically sit at home, relax, live well, eat well, sleep well, poop well, play video games while their wives are at work. And they let their wives pay the bills. They let their wives cover the housing, cover the food, cover all of it. Okay? And they basically they live lives of simplicity and comfort, playing games like AI Limit. The game you're watching on the screen right now is AI Limit. I absolutely love the visuals of this game. I have to jump in, especially after what's happened with the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo will not be getting my money for like games like this. Nope. Like I was one of those people that would buy the Switch version, both the digital and physical, just so that I could play on my Nintendo Switch. and that's done. Those days are completely done. I'm not, just like a bad relationship, I'm not giving them my money anymore, and that's exactly what men are doing with women. Men are not giving them their money anymore. That's why women have to dance on TikTok and in shorts for just to get, it's called borderline content. That's what they're doing in China and the United States. It's everywhere. It's called borderline content, where you have the dancing girl who's wearing like a scantily clad outfit, and she's dancing so that she can gain a larger social media following and live off tips, small amounts of money, which adds up. But she's basically throwing away so much of her value, because while there are men who would want to get into a relationship, there are men who would get into a relationship with her. A lot of men are not going to get into a relationship with her, because they're going to say there are way too many men that are competing for this woman, and this is a woman who's obviously going to have extremely high expectations. So I'm not. So it's fun watching her dance, but that's not wife material right there. That's not a wife. That's not wifey. That's not wifey. That's that's streets. So they don't understand that even doing that, they are losing their value, because a lot of men don't want to be with a woman who's all over social media either. It's just a reality of things, and women don't comprehend the mistakes that they've made. And women have messed up so badly, and they don't. And now they're crying and complaining because men won't date them anymore. Men won't pay attention to them anymore. If they have a boyfriend, the boyfriends are giving up, or just are walking away. And if they're in a relationship with a husband, the man has realized that it makes more sense to just, these men are smart. It makes more sense to quit your job, let the woman take on the entire burden of sustaining the relationship with just her job, pay all of the bills, because if she has to pay the bills, or else do this for long enough so that, eventually the court, you can say to the judge, yeah, it's hard to find a job right now, and blah blah blah. So how are you surviving, sir? My wife is paying the bills. And you've been doing nothing for what, 2 years? Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been looking for work, but there's nothing out there. It's that's what relationships are. And if they don't have any kids, and the wife is the breadwinner, right? What they're going to do is they're going to hide their assets as best as they can, and things like crypto. This is what these men are doing, and then they're going to disappear. They're going to basically go to the court, and they're going to say, well, you know, this is a marriage, and if because it's a marriage, that means I'm entitled to half of her stuff, and I want half of her stuff. So whatever assets she has, whatever money she has in the bank, I need half of that. So they're going to take money from these women. This is the new trend. The women don't understand that they screwed up so badly. Men don't. There's no love left. There's no love. There's no honor. There's no commitment, because women destroyed it. So now women are basically seeing the consequences, and they can go to social media and cry about it all they want. It's not going to change anything, which is why, guys, I keep on telling you to invest in crypto, because as hard times are now upon us, one of the best ways to protect your wealth, safeguard your wealth, and prepare for hard times and thrive while others are struggling to survive is with crypto.
Ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy, to teach you everything you need to know about crypto, so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
Fair, my husband doesn't really have any terrible habits. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and he's actually quite a decent guy. But he's just obsessed with video games. That level of addiction is really beyond my understanding. Every day after he gets home from work, he can literally skip anything. Skip dinner, skip showering, skip sleeping, but the one thing he won't skip is his daily session of gaming. Even when his eyes are barely open from exhaustion, he'll just sit there groggy and half asleep, still glued to his phone, playing round after round after round. What's even crazier is how well he blocks out the world. Sometimes I'll be standing right next to him, talking, and he won't respond at all, like I don't even exist. If I want him to help out a little, do some chores, or even just take care of our kid for a moment, I have to call him over and over again. Sometimes I shout until my throat goes hoarse before he finally drags his eyes off the screen and lazily mutters, "Just a sec." Do you know what the most infuriating moment was for me? There was this one time when he stayed up the entire night gaming, didn't sleep at all, and then the next morning, had the audacity to say he had a headache and asked me to take our kid to kindergarten. I was absolutely furious.
I mean, guys, women don't understand. Men can be irresponsible too. They like that. One of the biggest regrets I've ever made in my life was trying to be too damn responsible, trying to contribute to society, trying to create value for society that took advantage of me and was using me. I remember my first job, which was a real job out of college, which was a high level accounting position. And all the baby boomers and the oldest of Gen Xers were making crazy amounts of money in that job. And then they hired us and were paying us like less than half of what they were paying people who had start when people who had those jobs. We were doing the exact same work than these people were doing. We were doing more work than these people. They gave themselves all comfy jobs, and we were there doing jobs that where you would typically be making anywhere starting out like $100,000 a year and then working up to about $200,000. They were paying us nothing. And we thought that, okay, well, we're starting here at the job, and like even like nameplates, for example, you would get a nameplate. They didn't even give us our nameplates. Like they literally hired us. They hired us with these crazy level of requirements. We all had to have these insane levels of education. I graduated from one of the best universities in the world for business, the best, like one of the best. You cannot get higher. I have this insane business degree, by the way. I have this insane business degree that is hard to complete. Like we literally had to do calculus in this freaking business program. It has the highest level of accreditation in the entire world. And this is the kind and these are the people. It was me and others who they hired like the best of the best and paid us peanuts. And then when a year or so rolled around and it was time for a wage increase, they offered me like 10 cents. 10 cents. And some of you might go, well, I mean that's maybe that was their way of telling you that they didn't like you. No, that was pretty normal. You see, for today, that's basically how every job is today. Like every job is today. And I didn't realize how screwed up it was. I threw away so many years of my life studying computer science. Okay, studying computer science and business. So I all of these guys. I have an insane level of education. I have an education in computer. I have an education in computer science. I have an education in business. I have an education in health. At the graduate level, I have an education in psychology, in applied psychology. I'm a statistician, okay? Trained statistician where I can analyze statistics. All right? If I want to go and get it, I can get a certification I can get a certification as a health educator as well, right? All of these things for what? For what? I have a background as a systems developer. I have a background in IT. I have a background as a coder. I have a background in all of these things. And you go and you work for these companies and they pay you freaking peanuts. Absolute peanuts. I'm telling y'all, this is why I keep warning you to learn as quickly as you can. Get out of these stupid jobs and start making money for yourself. I have been working for myself for over 10 years now. Over 10 years. After what I experienced, I said never again. I said I never want to work for anyone ever again, and I never have. I've been self-employed. I've worked for myself for over 10 years. Over 10 years. Because I'm telling y'all, these 9 to 5 jobs, I warned you years ago. I warned you guys over 5 years ago at this point. 7 years ago, I said, these luxurious 9 to 5 jobs are going away. Do not depend on them. Do not count on them. They're not going to be there for you. And a lot of you did not want to listen, and now you're beginning to see it. Where there's all of these ghost jobs online. Gen Z sucks, and I'm not going to compliment Gen Z for acting like a bunch of bad muffins. All right? Oh, Gen Z is just getting revenge for all of us because the employers are taking advantage of us. Yeah, this is not getting revenge. It just leads to worse service and worse. It makes society much more difficult for everyone else. There's a nihilistic attitude like, well, Gen Z is going to is going to wreck society. Let them wreck it. Eh, you guys don't understand what a failed society actually looks like. What we really need is collectively to basically say, if you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. If you no more taking advantage of us as consumers, no more taking advantage of us in the workforce, basically learning how to say no. But that doesn't mean that you go in there and you burn it down. It doesn't mean that you go in there and you steal from your employer, because you steal from your employer, you're really stealing from society, because they're just going to any money that you steal. Because I worked in insurance, any money that you steal as an employee, as a consumer, any fraud that's committed, it doesn't hurt the company. It hurts society, because they just use that as a reason to raise rates for everyone. So when the cost of your health insurance goes up, when the cost of your business insurance goes up, when the cost of your auto insurance goes up, all right, they're just passing on all the fraud cost to you. They don't care. In fact, they will tack on additional fees and use it like, oh, we have to raise the prices because of fraud. But we're also going to include these additional fees in there so that we can basically never waste a good crisis, and then record more record breaking profits.
I wanted to smash his stupid phone right there and then, and just delete games from the face of the earth altogether. I keep telling him if he could just channel that same level of focus and dedication he puts into video games into actually making money and supporting our family, we could have already bought at least one more apartment in the city by now. Our quality of life would have improved dramatically. But he refuses to listen. He insists that gaming is his way of relaxing.
Notice this interesting notion. So if he was taking that energy and putting it into their family, her children, because they're not his children, they are her children, they belong to the state. She is an agent of the state, she is an administrator for those children, but they are owned by the state. If he would put that same energy into making money and the family, then she could live a more luxurious life. So he still does work, he still does provide for the family, he still does keep a roof over their heads, but if he would invest more, put more effort, so when he comes home from work, if he would be investing all of his time and effort and energy, forget about unwinding, forget about anything else, if he would just spend all of his time focused on his family and focused on working, then they would have even more. So she said we could have already bought another apartment. So it sounds like they already purchased one apartment, but one apartment is not good enough for them. It's not good enough for her. So if he would work even harder, they could afford yet another apartment. And then women wonder why men are giving up on dating and relationships. They wonder why men are walking away rapidly and choosing to stay home and play games like Atelier Yumia. Like that's the game you're watching on the screen right now. Look how beautiful this game is. Look how beautiful this is. That's waifu right there. That's a waifu right there. How many guys would rather play a game with a beautiful girl in the game that's fit, feminine, and friendly, along with her handsome companions and beautiful companions, and and go off into this alternate world versus having to put up with someone who doesn't even like you, doesn't see you as human, and you are worth nothing more to them than your ability to provide for them and give them more. It's insane. That's why I keep telling you guys, as the financial system is teetering on the edge, as ATMs will freeze, as banks will chain up the doors, your wealth is in jeopardy. Discover how to safeguard your assets with crypto, and at Angry's Crypto Academy, you'll learn how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in the most secure coins. Plus, discover the dark horse crypto that virtually no one is talking about, which will mint you millionaires in the upcoming bull run. Click the link in the video description below to find out what this crypto is and join the academy today. Because, guys, you can see it already. It's going to be a nightmare out there. Women are going to find themselves in extraordinary states of poverty, destitution, and hardship as this economy worsens, as the economy worsens, as the tariffs hit home, as men continue to give up on society, as resources continue to dry up. It's going to be rough out there. It's really, really going to be rough out there. And women are not going to have anyone to blame but themselves for the situation. Of course, they're going to blame men. They blame us for everything. It doesn't matter, though, because they're the ones who are ultimately going to have to deal with the fallout from all of this. Not us, them. They did this to themselves. They made the decisions, and now they're going to have to live with those decisions. Women chose this for themselves. It's like, ladies, you chose this. Now lay in those beds that you've made and deal with it. Because we're not going to be the ones to clean this mess up. And it's crazy. They're on social media bashing us because we don't want to provide for them anymore. Guys, men are done, and a lot of these men are just planning their exit strategy. They're minimalizing, cutting back gradually, funneling their money into crypto so they can get out of these toxic relationships. Okay? They put some money not even in the bank, in crypto. They let it grow, they funnel it, they hide, they squirrel away money for a couple of years. Then they get laid off from their jobs. They do a bit of day trading. And we actually have a course over in the Crypto Academy. We have a blueprint over there. We have a course and a blueprint, which will teach you how to make significant amounts of money day trading crypto every day, working an hour a day, day trading crypto. It's so simple, even a fifth grader can do it. You can find that link description of the video if you want to learn more about that. So men are doing this. They're learning how to make money while sitting in front of their laptop at home and just relaxing. Okay? Playing games while they're working on trades. And then once they're good, they just chill. And they basically let the job go. And then afterwards, that's it. The wife eventually either asks for a divorce or they get the divorce themselves, and the wife ends up with nothing. And if they can, they'll stay in the relationship. If it's worth it. Like, for example, if they can stick it out, they'll just stay in the relationship and just live off her indefinitely. Let her go work. Let her go do these things. And then when everything crashes, let it crash. And they get out of the relationship, and then they go live carefree and comfortable lives. As long as men have a roof over their heads and a little food in their bellies and a little bit of entertainment, they don't care about anything else. They don't care about dating. They don't care about relationships. They don't care about anything. Guys, women have shown us what their true nature is. They've shown us how they actually feel about men. There's no relationship coming back. There are only sims. And it's, you know what's wonderful? I see the simp in the comment, and I don't like having to read their comments, but the smart thing for me to do is just to block them, just to ban the sims right now. I ban the sims, I ban the Xers, I ban the boomers. If you're a respectable Xer, if you're not the Xer, the Zers, these not my not the Xers. Xers are cool, most of them. But no, I ban the Gen Zers. I ban the Boomers. If you're a respectable Zoomer, I'll still try to work with you a little bit. If you're a Boomer, unless you're like admitting to what your generation has done, and 99.9% of them will never do it, then I won't have a conversation with you. Like most Boomers, like most of the Boomers that were here when I started the channel, they're already gone. Why are they gone? Because I've banned them. Men, most men have given up on women and are playing video games, and women are responsible for this, guys. They put themselves between a rock and a hard place, and men are not going to come back. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA and walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.